Welcome, welcome, my dear friends. Myself, Professor Dr. Rajendra Deshpande, would like to welcome you all in my Ayurveda Academy YouTube channel. As you know that myself is Professor Deshpande, I am MD in Ayurvedic Medicine and MD in Ayurvedic Physiology. For communication, you can have my WhatsApp number 9226810630. My dear friends, today is also a lecture on the muscle physiology, and we will try to discuss about neuromuscular junction. This is a very popular and what you can say the frequently asked question as a SAQ. Sometimes it can be asked in the LAQ, long answer question, for 10 marks. Even in the Viva, there is a lot of stress on the neuromuscular junction, because you try to understand, basically we are mainly concerned with the skeletal muscles, and skeletal muscles are nothing but the muscles of the hands and the legs. They are also called as the striated muscles, and they are voluntary, under control of our brain, under control of our nervous system. And this nervous system, which is related with the actions of the muscles, contraction and relaxation, is the motor nervous system. There are two types, subtypes of the nervous system: sensory system and motor system. Sensory system takes the signals like pain, our eyes, our ears, that we are here, our smell, our taste, that signals go to the brain. So they are carried like a sensory system. Senses are carried to the brain, and then the action is taken. So that is also called as an ascending tract. But when the action has to be taken through the skeletal muscles, lifting up the hands, taking down, lifting up the weights, walking, all these things are under control of your brain and the nerves coming from the brain. That is a descending tract, from brain to spinal cord to the hands, spinal cord to my legs. So this type of the system is a motor nervous system. While going up, there are the three stages. So it is called as a first order neuron, second order neuron, third order neuron. But while coming down as a descending system, descending tract, motor system, it has only two steps: upper motor neuron and lower motor neuron. Okay. So upper motor neuron is a part from brain to spinal cord, and lower motor neuron is from spinal cord to my hands and legs. Okay. Now the nerve is coming to my particular muscle spindle, then the muscle cell, in which I have already discussed about the structure of the inside of the muscle, molecular, what you can say, the cellular level of physiology. The most important element over there is a sarcomere. Do you remember this word? Sarcomere is a part of the muscle. Sarcomere is a part of the muscle where actually the contraction process takes place with the help of actin and myosin filaments. Okay, that filaments override each other, and it is also called as the sliding filament theory. That is the actual process of contraction. But before that stage of contraction at a cellular level with actin myosin in the sarcomere, there should be some connection of the nerve to the muscle. Are you getting my point? There should be some connection there, because nerve impulse, the order will come from the brain through the upper motor neuron or through the lower motor neuron, and order will reach to your muscles. Order will reach to your muscles. Okay, here the connection, the nerve is coming over here and touching into the muscle and entering into the muscle. That particular section, that particular bridge, joining thing is called as a neuromuscular junction. Very simple to understand. When motor nerve is attached to the muscle spindle, that particular part as a neuromuscular junction, which part should be very much understood properly, because there is all the things which are giving signals for the further process of contraction. Let us discuss about this neuromuscular junction. Okay, let us see. Neuromuscular junction definition is a junction between the terminal, that is the last part of the nerve fiber coming from the brain to spinal cord to the hands and legs, and nerve fiber and the muscle fiber. It is a connection of the nerve fiber with the muscle fiber. Okay. Skeletal muscle fibers are innervated by the motor nerve fiber. I will make some cursor over here. In spite of using the whiteboard, you have to concentrate on my cursor. So this is motor. Motor means giving orders. Sensory is taking signals to the up part. Each nerve fiber, that is the main axon, divides into many terminal branches. Okay, axon is like a main branch of the tree. main branch of the tree. Each terminal branch innervates one muscle fiber through, that means it is entering into the muscle through the neuromuscular junction. Okay. Can you see over here? This is actually the nerve is coming. Can you see axon word over here? Axon. This is the main. The covering is neurilemma. As you know, also this is called as a myelin sheath. Covering is like a white coat, apron of the doctors. And here in between, you know, the node of Ranvier. Node of Ranvier. There are gaps. There are gaps. And the nerve impulse, that is current, is jumping like that. And that's why, because of the myelin sheath, myelinated nerve fibers, the current is always passing very quickly. Because nerve, that particular nerve impulse signals are jumping from this node of Ranvier here, then here, like that. This is axon, and this axon terminal is there. This is actually the muscle fiber. Here you can see the myofibril, and this particular part where that muscle has entered into the nerve is called as neuromuscular junction. All these figures are very important for your examination purpose. Terminal branch of nerve fiber is called axon terminal. Terminal means end. When the axon comes close to the myelin fiber, it loses the myelin sheath. It cannot enter with apron. It has to lose that, it has to remove that myelin sheath, and then it will enter into the muscle. So the axis cylinder automatically get exposed because inside some chemicals are there. And so the myelin sheath is thrown away and that nerve is entering into the muscle. Okay. The portion of the axis cylinder is expanded like a bulb, big bulb, which is called as a motor end plate. Don't worry, I'm going to show you the pictures. Motor end plate. Axon terminal contains mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. You know this mitochondria, energy, mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, and synaptic vesicles. So axon terminal contains mitochondria and synaptic vesicles. Small bags are over there. Synaptic vesicles, these are like the bags, BAGS, bags. What they contain? They contain some chemical substance which is called as a neurotransmitter substance. And most important neurotransmitter. What is the meaning of neurotransmitter? Transmit the signal of the nerve to the muscle. That is neurotransmitter. The one of the important chemical is acetylcholine, ACH. This is the most important for the muscle contraction, neurotransmitter. Okay. Next, the ACH, acetylcholine, is synthesized formation in the mitochondria present in the axon terminal, and that particular neurotransmitter is stored in the vesicles. Vesicles are like bags. Okay. Mitochondria contain ATP. What is ATP? Energy molecules. Adenosine triphosphate, which is the source of energy for the synthesis of acetylcholine. You have to manufacture this chemical acetylcholine, and there we require some energy. Any manufacturing process will require the energy. Okay. Synaptic trough or gutter. Synaptic trough or the gutter, motor end plate invaginates inside the muscle fiber and forms a depression, like a pit, depression, which is known as synaptic gutter. The membrane of the muscle fiber below the motor end plate is thickened, little bit thick. Synaptic cleft. These are all terminologies you must know. What is synaptic gutter? What is synaptic cleft? Synaptic trough or the gutter is a depression. Now cleft, membrane of the nerve ending is called as a presynaptic membrane. Pre means before. Before there is a membrane, so that is presynaptic membrane. Membrane of the muscle fiber is called as a postsynaptic membrane. Synaptic is a middle part of connection. Space between these two membranes, that is presynaptic membrane and postsynaptic membrane, the particular gap, GAP gap, is called as synaptic cleft. Okay. The transfer of information from motor nerve ending to the muscle fiber is always taking place through the, neuromuscular junction. It is the mechanism by which the motor nerve impulses, that is current, initiate the process of muscle contraction. Next, here you can see this is the axon, okay? Then presynaptic membrane. This is a presynaptic membrane. These are the mitochondria, energy is generated. Then these are the synaptic vesicle. What is the function? ACH is stored here, acetylcholine. That chemistry, that particular chemical is stored. See the cursor. Here it is stored. Then this is muscle, postsynaptic membrane. This is presynaptic, this is postsynaptic. And in between this presynaptic and postsynaptic, can you see the gap? Can you see cursor? Synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft. So three words are important: presynaptic membrane, postsynaptic membrane, and synaptic cleft. I think this picture is so nice, so beautiful, that you can make 100 times of practice to draw this particular sketch, because you have to draw the mitochondria, powerhouse of the energy. Energy is required, ATP is required. Why? To form the neurotransmitter. What is the name of the neurotransmitter? ACH, acetylcholine. Where it is stored? It is stored in the synaptic vesicles. I think this much part is very clear to you. Now, what are the steps, events occurring in the process of neuromuscular transmission? Transmission of a signal, current, nerve impulse, that is called as a nerve impulse. Okay. First, release of acetylcholine. This neurotransmitter is very much essential. Action of acetylcholine. Next step, development of end plate potential. Because resting membrane potential, there should be some change. It should be converted to, yes, action potential. RMP is converted to AP. So development of miniature end plate potential. And lastly, when the contraction or that process of transmission is over, immediately unnecessary that acetylcholine will be destroyed. How this very interesting thing. Acetylcholine is only taking its birth for its activity. When the transmission of impulse is complete, acetylcholine is destroyed. Okay. Next, release of acetylcholine. When action potential reaches axon terminal, what happens? It opens the voltage gated calcium channels. This is called as a membrane physiology. I have already taken your membrane physiology lectures, so you may be remembering these voltage gated calcium channels. These are the doors through which that neurotransmitter can come inside. Okay, so they can be opened only after this energy action potential reaches to the axon terminal. Okay, calcium ions from extracellular fluid, that is called as the ECF, enter into the axon terminal. Axon is a part of nerve. Remember this thing. Okay, so there are two things, nerves and muscles. These cause bursting of the vesicles because of the calcium entry. Burst, vesicles are burst, forcing the synaptic vesicles move and fuse with the presynaptic membrane. Now, acetylcholine is released from the ruptured vesicles. These are the bags, I have already told you. So they are holding this acetylcholine. When they are burst, acetylcholine is coming out from that vesicles. Next, by exocytosis, ACH, acetylcholine, diffuses through the presynaptic membrane and enters into the, yes, synaptic cleft. Each vesicle, that vesicles contain about 10,000 acetylcholine molecules. Lot of neurotransmitters are there. And at a time, about 300 vesicles open and release acetylcholine. After entering to the synaptic cleft, acetylcholine molecules bind with nicotinic receptors present in the postsynaptic membrane, and they together, because receptor is like a welcoming entity. As like I always give the example to my medical students. For example, you have the gathering, and some prestigious guest is coming from the door, main gate. Volunteers are always there, volunteers, and they welcome sir, welcome. So these welcoming students are like the receptors. So acetylcholine is welcomed by the receptors. And what are the names of the students over here? The nicotinic receptors. Nicotinic receptors, they welcome the acetylcholine and they're like a second. Okay, come on. Welcome. Welcome. So the second is made by the acetylcholine and receptor complex. It increases the permeability of postsynaptic membrane. That means watchman will go inside into the college and open all the doors because the guests are coming with the volunteers. So post permeability will be increased postsynaptic membrane for sodium by opening the ligand gated sodium channels. Previously it was calcium channels that we were discussing about presynaptic membrane, but here you can see now the sodium channels are opened in the ligand gated sodium channels. Next, now sodium ions from the ECF enter the neuromuscular junction through these particular channels. Now the sodium has taken the entry, okay, and these sodium ions alter the resting membrane potential and develops the electrical potential called as end plate potential. So finally, these sodium ions which are coming into the particular cleft, they change the configuration of that particular end plate potential. Next, end plate potential is the change in resting membrane RMP when an impulse reaches the neuromuscular junction. Resting membrane potential at neuromuscular junction when there is nothing happening, minus 90 millivolt. This is RMP in the skeletal muscle. RMP, resting membrane potential. Okay. When the sodium ions enter inside, slight depolarization occurs. Change of the polarity. Previously in the RMP, positivity externally, negativity inside of the cell. But now it is changed. Then positivity inside, negativity outside. That is called as a depolarization. And that is the value is a minus 60 millivolt, which is called as a end plate potential. End plate potential. Now, miniature end plate potential is a weak end plate potential in neuromuscular junction that is developed by the release of small quantity of acetylcholine from axon terminal. This is the main reason why this end plate polarity has been changed. Okay. When more and more quantity of acetylcholine are released continuously, the miniature end plate potentials, one after another, potential will be added. And finally, that will produce the end plate potential resulting in the AP. Now, the action potential is needed in the muscle. From the nerve, it will begin, and at the muscle, finally, AP will be developed, action potential. So, the process of contraction, actin filament theory, that everything will be start in the muscle. But before that, neuromuscular junction is the previous steps of the contraction. Okay, next. As I have told you, destruction of the acetylcholine. Acetylcholine released into the synaptic cleft is destroyed very quickly within 1 millisecond by the enzyme. How it is destroyed? There is one enzyme, acetylcholinesterase. ASE, this particular suffix always indicates the enzyme. And this enzyme, acetylcholinesterase, is for the purpose of destruction of ACH after its work is over. So, rapid destruction of ACH, that is acetylcholine, has got some important functional significance. Why? Because it prevents the repeated excitation of the muscle fiber and allows the muscle to relax. Because acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter which will always stimulate to the muscle. So that process should be, after contraction, there should be a phase of relaxation. And for that relaxation purpose, there should not be existence of acetylcholine. So ACH is destroyed. Next, neuromuscular blockers. Drugs which prevent the transmission of impulse from nerve fiber to the muscle fiber through the neuromuscular junction. Blocking. Signal should not go. These drugs are widely used. Why it is needed? You will say, sir, doctor, we need the contraction and relaxation. Yes, but sometimes that actions of the muscles should be controlled, should be restricted. Muscle should be in a calm and steady position. Where it is needed? The drugs are widely used during the surgery. You are doing the abdominal surgery and muscles is moving. If you are doing the hand surgery and the muscles are contracting, is it useful? No. That will damage, that will speed breaker for your surgery. Complications will occur. So at that time, body muscles should be relaxed. And body muscles can be relaxed whenever you will block this activity of acetylcholine. You will block these neuromuscular blockers. This particular medicine should be used even in the trauma. When the trauma is occurring, that that actually broken muscle fibers should take rest. They should be avoided for getting contracted, and that thereby we are using these neuromuscular blockers during the anesthesia to relax the skeletal muscles and induce the paralysis, so that surgery can be conducted with less complications. And the most commonly used this example of neuromuscular blocker is Curare. Curare is a particular name of the medicine. Now, neuromuscular junction can be stimulated. Sometimes it is needed that activity is less. Then there should be some stimulation, and that the drugs are the neostigmine and physostigmine. Okay, so these are the stigmines are the drugs which can stimulate the neuromuscular junction. Now we will talk about the most essential or interesting part of our medical practice. What is the importance of this neuromuscular junction? Myasthenia gravis is also famous by the name of the Amitabh Bachchan. At some very far back, Amitabh Bachchan, a superstar of the Bollywood industry, has got this particular problem of myasthenia gravis. Try to understand the word. This particular sthenia is a strength. Sthenia, strength. Sthenia, strength. Myasthenia, strength of the muscle. Myasthenia. But here, that is asthenia. Is not sthenia. It's asthenia, loss of strength of muscle. Asthenia. Remember, sthenia, asthenia. Is word here. Is the opposite. So strength has been lost. And how much it is lost? Oh my God, gravis. Too much. Too much loss of strength of the muscle contraction power is called the myasthenia gravis disease. And the most important for your medical practice, the first important sign or symptom, I can say, that is noticed by the doctor, that ptosis of the eyelid. The patient has a weakness of the hands and legs and walking, that is step by step will occur. But the first symptom, that one eyelid is dropping. One eyelid is dropping, that is called as a ptosis. And that ptosis indicates maybe the beginning of this grave disease, that is myasthenia gravis. Ptosis is very important. Okay, this is the autoimmune disorder where your own immunity is fighting with your own cells. Neuromuscular junction caused by the antibodies to the cholinergic receptors, and that is why there is a acetylcholine deficiency. Acetylcholine deficiency, this is the name, myasthenia gravis disease. Muscles are tired. You don't have the energy to walk. You don't have energy to talk. You don't have energy to move your hands and legs. That is myasthenia gravis. Okay. Next disease is the Eaton-Lambert syndrome. It is also an autoimmune disease, disorder of the neuromuscular junction. It is caused by antibodies to the calcium channels in the axon terminal. And you have understood how that calcium is essential to burst that vesicles and to come out that neurotransmitter ACH. So that particular calcium is lacking in this particular Eaton-Lambert syndrome. Okay. My dear friends, I think that this topic you maybe find interesting of neuromuscular junction, how Dr. Deshpande has explained all the things before the contraction process, how that signal is coming, and what is the synapse, what is the synaptic cleft, presynaptic membrane, postsynaptic membrane, and which are the vesicles, which is the mitochondria, how that calcium is released, then how the sodium channels are opened, how the action potential is developed in the muscle. I hope you might have been like this video. So please share this video, like this video, and don't forget, by folding my hands, to subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell button icon to get the, what you can say, the encouragement, Professor Deshpande, to make such type of the interesting videos for the students, for the doctors, for the professors, and also for the common man. My channel is for everybody. Okay. So I wish you all the best and take care, and bye-bye, and see you in the next video.